right, we are Insta living. Let's get this fixed a little bit. We'll wait for some people to join in this Insta live, and then Zach will be joining as well. Hi, thanks for joining. We're gonna wait for a couple more people to join in, and then we will be answering your questions in this Insta live today. Hi, thanks for joining. So if you have questions between kind of like now and the end of this Instagram live, please shoot them through and we would be happy to answer them. Zach will be joining me shortly, so if you have questions that you want to ask him as well, shoot them on through. Today we're going to be kind of like discussing like what questions we get asked every day and how you should be like thinking about your brand when you're first starting out. Thanks again for everyone joining. My name's Nikki. Zach will be joining shortly. If you have questions, shoot them through, but we're gonna jump right on into questions that you guys have asked. So we got asked about what is our private label collection. So our private label collection is patterns that are already developed, and we have like them, the fit approved. We've done runs of them before. So we source you fabric that you've selected, and then we do all of your cutting and sewing for it. Zach is gonna jump in here.
Hello.
Hello. Got quite a few people already. So we're just kind of talking about what private label is and how that ties into Fashion Revolution dead stock sale that we have going on right now.
Yeah, we have extra fabric. We want to use it, and
Exactly.
It's really, really, really good fabric. So if you're interested in doing a small run or adding to another order, then just let us know, because it's really good fabric and it's going to go really soon. So we don't usually do this kind of thing, but we have some extra fabric, mainly for jersey, for t-shirts, French terry, for hoodies and joggers, and some leggings.
Exactly. So there's a few posts back that show some of the selection. DM us, email us with what you want.
Yeah, if you're not signed up for our newsletter, you wouldn't have gotten like the full thing. So make sure you go on our site and sign up if you want to get these types of emails.
Great. So we typically get asked a lot of very vague questions, like how does it work, how much, how long, what do I need, what do you do, what's the status, how many pieces. And today we're going to focus on kind of like how you can word those questions a little bit differently to get more of an answer that you're looking for.
Yeah. So the it's a trick question, actually. I'm gonna move this forward. I don't like being so far away. I gotta be closer to you guys. Okay. All right. So it's a trick question. What she is really referring to is the fact that we get these types of like very vague questions every day about like what does it cost or how long does it take, right? We do not sell a product, and that's what's the most important thing.
Yeah.
We want you guys to think of Indie Source as a hub, as a resource, and as a partner for whatever it is that you are making, rather than some group that's like selling you something. We have literally nothing to sell you. There is nothing, right? What Indie Source is a group of people that understand this industry, that have done it, that have built lots of products, thousands of different types of products and hundreds of different brands. And so when you come to us, what we care about is really what is your framework, what's your situation, and we want to know what you're making. We want to know any realities that you're up against. So if you have a certain quantity you need to produce, we want to know that. If you have a certain budget, we want to know how to allocate that budget for you. Because again, it's really about supply chain. And what that means is we want to take the business that you have and be an extension of your team and say, okay, all right, so you want to do this collection, right? And you're not sure how many styles to do. You're not sure how many units to do, right? There's things you won't know, but instead of coming to us with, how much does it cost or how long does it take, you want to come to us or any manufacturer really with, here are the things I do know. These are the things that I care about. This is what matters to me, my brand. These are my goals. This is where I want to get. And we'll create a plan for you guys so you know exactly what needs to happen every step of the way. Okay? There are some people that come And we honestly, and this is the point why the kickoff meeting is so important, because sometimes I'll have conversations with people in the kickoff meeting, and in the end of the conversation, it's, it doesn't make sense for them to start right now because they just don't have any capital, right? Or not enough to really get started and it be successful. So they might wait, right? Or maybe they start doing blanks at first. You start printing on blank t-shirts, make some money, and then from there you can go into cut and sew. And anybody that saw the thing we did with John Santos knows, like, it's a very different thing. And so, like, and if you want to watch that, we'll be posting, and he has it on his Instagram too, or his YouTube, about the process of cut and sew. So, yeah, I mean, I guess I just want to say that, like, identify your realities, identify the things that really are clear for what you want, and then, look, we're just here to put the pieces together. That is our job, is to make sure that we are setting up a supply chain for you, no matter what. So can we do, this kind of product? Yes, we can do it. We've done it, okay? Are we gonna come back and give you suggestions and say, hey, this might be a better way to do it? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think that goes really well with, like, what does full package management and production actually mean?
Yeah, so, okay, if you were to think of any kind of business needs people to run it. And on the operations side, if you're a small business owner and you're doing everything, right? You're doing all the things from start to finish, well, you have to figure out which things you want to give up to have someone else do. So full package management to us, it means that from the beginning when we order materials to all the way at the end when we're shipping product, that's handled by us so that we can give you the time back so that you can focus on selling and basically communicating the vision of your product. So one thing I want you to ask yourself, if you're running your company, be honest. How many hours a day are you spending not talking about your product to customers, not actually engaging with the people that are going to be buying your thing? And really, really often, I'd love to hear if you guys are on here, comment, like, honestly, how much time are you spending a week actually engaging with the people that buy your stuff? And that's what really matters, and that's what you need to do. Why? Because you're the one who invented the thing, right? So we can focus on the product. You have to focus on communicating the real vision of your product to the people that care about it, okay? So that's the main thing. Full package to us is we take the supply chain, we manage it from start to finish, and we allow you guys to tap into that yourselves so that you don't have to hire a production director, a production assistant, quality control, pattern makers, sample makers, all these other people. So we built this organization so you guys can come in, grab what you need, and pop out. You don't have to pay for our workers' comp or our liability insurance and all these other things, our payroll taxes. Like, you just don't have to deal with that. And so that's a huge thing that isn't really out there.
Yeah, that's great. So then, can you tell me a little bit more why it costs more to do work with us than it does in China?
Okay. All right. So why does it cost more for us to produce? First of all, I would ask that person, have you gotten a quote from us? Have you looked at something? That's an assumption, first of all. Without knowing the product, I wouldn't even say that that's necessarily true. And when you talk about cost, you have to be very careful, because when you say cost, what do you mean? Labor? You mean the cost of wages? That's only one little piece of cost.
Yeah.
There's so much more that you have to look at it when you're going manufacturing in China. And again, I have nothing against that. I care about the business being successful. And when you're starting up, you don't want to just throw your stuff out there and not be able to manage it and be there. You got to be there to do it. So if you're choosing production, I just say, obviously there's lower wages, right? Why does it cost? That's the main reason why it would be less expensive.
Yeah.
In reality, right? Because there's also a lot less regulations. So
yeah.
The factories aren't under as much pressure to pay their workers and be not putting chemicals into water and things like that. So you have to consider, what are you actually going to know if you produce overseas without actually being there and facilitating the management of the production there.
Yeah.
Again, we're not promoting USA made just for the sake of America, right? We actually think that when you're starting, it makes sense to produce local. That's why.
We had a couple questions come through here. I think there's a couple more if you
Cool.
scroll up.
Oh, okay, great. Fashion Equipped. Oh, these are the Australian people, right? I think so. We're based in Australia. We're startups. We need more services like yours. Yeah, I agree. And it sounds like you guys are doing some awesome things too. And the thing, it's other funny thing is I don't know exactly what Fashion Equipped does, but one thing I want to say, sometimes we get Australian brands, and we get Australian brands, and sometimes they'll say like, hey, I'm selling to Australia. Should I produce it in the U.S.? No, you shouldn't. I really don't think you should. If your customer is here, it makes sense. But if you are it doesn't make much sense to produce it here and ship it all the way to Australia if your customers are there. Now, most Australian brands, that's why the reason why we work with a bunch of Australian brands is because they sell in Australia and here. So what you do is you split your production. You do some here where you're going to sell it, and then you produce some over there. And I know Australia doesn't have as much of a manufacturing infrastructure as we do, so that, you could do like Bali or Indonesia or something. So tell me if I'm wrong, Fashion Equipped, but I would say like that's kind of my advice for Australian brands is make sure you're like thinking about where the product's being sold before you start manufacturing somewhere. All right, what's the process behind constantly improving your fabrics and products? So part of it is constantly improving our vendor relationships. So what that means is when we first started this, you don't understand. You guys have to understand that the current model, or the model when we started and even still, is volume, 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 volume. It's all about how much you can produce. So when we go to manufacturers, fabric companies, sustainable or not, and say, hey, well, our designers need to be able to get access to fabric quickly. In the beginning, they just didn't listen to us. They didn't care. They just were only focused on getting as big a volume as possible. Okay, we got a party in here today. It's okay. Thank you, Judy. Anyways, so by kind of iterating against the brands that we're working with, or the fabric mills that we're working with, we kind of cut down on the people that don't have the vision for how fashion brands are evolving. Brands are not, you're not going to see, you've probably seen this before, but like you're not going to see more billion-dollar fashion brands. Why? Because there's niches now. There's lots of brands, and all of them are going to be targeting specific groups of people. So because we're working with all these different brands now, we need them to be able to produce less units, so there's less waste, but we're also have a higher sell-through rate. So the stuff you make gets sold, and then you go back, you make more, right? So we need to work with fabric vendors that allow us to do that. That's a really key one. And then folks that are testing, providing us with really good materials and things that we can show you. When we're sourcing, we're going to give you tons of swatches. You're going to be able to pick all the different things. You're going to know exactly how much they cost. And we give you the fabric vendors information. Because again, I don't care. You can go deal with them if you want. It's not about us hiding or shielding information from you. This is light. I got some like funny light. Isn't that funny like that? Oh, that's why. Okay. All right. I'm going to block it this way. All right. So anyways, that's the answer to your question, Exhibit. We are improving fabrics by constantly not just sourcing for our vendors, but sourcing the best mill relationships and partners that we think actually are going to help you guys achieve your goal of getting the fabric into the market. Anything to add?
Yeah, I think always keeping up to date too with what's new on the market.
Yeah, just asking for what's available, and we'll give you our opinion too. How do we price accordingly if choosing for manufacturing in China? You always price based off your retail price point anyway, so you need to start with that and work backwards based off of that and the number of units you can do. So you want to focus on obtaining your target manufacturing price, how much you want to make it for, and then go find manufacturers and tell them, I want to make this many units for this price point. How can I make that happen? What would have to happen to make that happen? What would have to happen to make that happen?
Makes sense.
It's kind of a tongue twister. We do short runs, Wally. Short, it depends on who you're asking, but we do short runs, but we also push our designers to produce enough that they can actually sell it. We're doing this 50 unit thing here as a promotion, but I really do believe that 300 units is a very reasonable amount. Now, look, if you're doing 20 styles, I understand 300 times 20, like that becomes a lot. If you're making a few styles, selling, when you break that down and you have 4 or 5 sizes and a couple colors, you're selling only 20, 25 units a SKU, which if you're going to start this business and put money into marketing anyways, you might as well have some inventory. Oh my gosh. All right. We have so many things here. Okay. Great. Are you the company that does Dame Dash Brand? Yeah, we were on the TV show and we did some of his stuff on BET. So yes, we encourage our clients to make local products whenever possible. All right, you guys have anything else?
Covers everything we had gotten asked.
This light is bothering me. Okay. Anybody have any questions? Oh, look, wave. I can wave.
Finger guns are being brought back. Pew.
What else? Who else got something?
What's our MOQ?
You got 2 more weeks until we do this again. What?
2 more weeks.
MOQ's usually 300. Again, it doesn't exist. MOQ doesn't exist. We just think that makes the most sense for your business. Is organic cotton more sustainable than regular cotton? Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
It's still not the most sustainable option, but it uses a lot less water to make organic cotton than it does to make just a regular cotton.
Yeah, uses a lot less water and then
Less pesticides.
Pesticides, which is huge, and so it is absolutely better for the environment and more sustainable. We have a phenomenal book of organic fabrics. Mm-hmm. We have organic cotton across jersey, rib, fleece, French terry. We have tons of it. But there are dye minimums with organic cotton, so you have to be willing to do, 2, 3, 4, 500 yards of a color.
Yeah.
So again, what does that mean? And it means when you're designing, you have to design multiple styles with the same fabric so that you can spread those across styles, and then you are going to be able to hit those minimums. Yeah, it's a huge one. What other questions are you getting asked?
Do you do like product placement into stores?
Do we do product placement into stores? Mm-hmm. What does that mean? Do we work with buyers?
Yeah, like do we help people get into like stores versus selling online?
Look, again, this is all about relationships. We have a ton of relationships with buyers. We have brands that are in stores, and so if you're interested in that level of relationship, I would say reach out and kind of like, let's talk and see what you're all about, what you've done. But in the very beginning, you got to be the one knocking on the doors yourself and in reaching out to them. If we produce your stuff, absolutely. If we have a connection, we'll make that connection and set you up. But you got to be pounding the pavement. I have a name, but I want to design shirts, polo types. Can you guys take me from A to Z with design? Yeah, we do. But again, like the design, the creative vision has got to come from you, right? We don't want to take that from you. So you need to bring us that vision, something that is digestible. And that's why this kickoff meeting is so important, so that, you come with reference samples and a development sheet filled out. Then we're ready to rock and roll. So like, if you haven't signed up, if you're on here and you haven't signed up for this meeting, you're serious about starting your line, we make it unbelievably easy. It's a $200 meeting. I mean, and you get one of us usually.
Yeah.
So just book the meeting, fill out the sheet, bring your samples, and we can help you plan it out. Simple as that. I need the best people. I want to make everything. I just want to find a good home. Yeah. We want to find good art designers that are serious about their businesses. The only thing that I can't handle is when somebody comes to us and they want to do this as a hobby. They're just not interested. We have a lot of success in like helping people really scale, and so if you're serious, then we're a good fit. And we can find the infrastructure and make sure that actually works for you. Hello.
Something for pickup for me?
And also, don't forget, you got to get a UPS account. This is a UPS guy. Go to UPS, Stop showing up here without your UPS accounts. You gotta. Every business should have a UPS account, so you can ship your own things to and fro. I would also recommend getting a QuickBooks account immediately if you don't have your accounting set up in the beginning of your business venture. You're in a world of pain later on. So some key early infrastructure things that I really recommend, and also like make sure you have a good accountant as well, a good CPA. Even when you're starting up, make sure somebody is like actually taking care of you. 'Cause a lot of times that's not really looked at. But again, we'll give you all the different things that you need to get started and to kind of like launch the business, knowing you have all the information in development, production. You're getting pattern cards, you're getting your patterns, you're getting bill of materials, tech packs, all the stuff that really doesn't. Like you're not thinking about it in the beginning because you just want the samples, but the most important thing are those infrastructure assets, and then those don't go away. You get to keep those forever. All right, thank you guys for joining, and if you're interested in the dead stock program, we got another 1 week left, and then we're closing it. So shoot us an email, DM us if you're interested in the 50. I mean, you can order 100 units, 200 units. But we have a limited amount of fabric for that from our basics collection. It's all really good stuff. It's been pre-fitted, and so we know you're going to love it. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.